Our analysts over at Global Financial Wealth Network predict a 40-state romping crush by the Trump campaign over Joe Biden.
Uh-oh. This was all the way back in 2019 or 2020. When was this from? This was from early November 2020, immediately before Joe Biden won the 2020 election. I love it, dude. I love it to death. I eat this up. I love watching false predictions fall flat on their face. So if you're unfamiliar, this is a woman called Ann Vandersteel. She runs a show called The Steel Truth. And she's gone down a QAnon rabbit hole as of late. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that she's been up to lately. She's taken a turn toward the sovereign citizen movement. If you don't know what that is, you will in a minute. It's crazy. But let me show you some clips from this woman. Let me show you what she's all about. Let's talk about her. This is Bill Mitchell on the left. I've talked about him. It's been a while, but he's been on my radar for a bit. Mid-April 2019, Ann Vandersteel speaks to Bill Mitchell. Give it a listen.
Now, I want to take you back to something, Bill, because we got written up, or I should say I did. Well, both of us, we usually do, by that lovely guy, Cal Mantilla at Right Wing Watch.
They got written up by Right Wing Watch. No, you know what Right Wing Watch did? Exactly what I do. If you don't know Right Wing Watch, that's where I get a lot of my clips. They simply took a clip of you saying something absolutely psychotic, and they posted it on their Twitter channel. That's it. That's all they do. There's no writing up like you're in middle school or elementary school or whatever. I don't think I've been written up since, well, I think I got written up in high school a good bit. But the point is, you don't get written up, okay? If you don't want people exposing the absolutely psychotic that you do, then don't do absolutely psychotic and you won't have to worry about it. Okay, so she's upset. Right Wing Watch is keeping track. Keep listening. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video.
Right Wing Watch.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, they're a joke. They're friends with MAGA Coalition, right?
Exactly.
So you're friends with MAGA Coalition. What he's saying is Right Wing Watch follows anybody that is MAGA. That's not necessarily true, but okay, let's keep listening.
Exactly. So anyway, we got written up in there for my comment about the fact that it runs rampant in the higher levels of government around the world. And here we are, right here. It's breaking. NXIVM.
So what she says is people, for those who are listening, you couldn't read her lips on that one or whatever. She's saying people who mistreat children covertly control the world and exist in positions of power all the way up the chain, if you get my meaning. You know, I'm just going to say it. I think it's safe to say once or twice. She's talking about the global elites that are like pedophiles that are out to get like everybody or whatever, right? And she says she's been vindicated. It's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. This is 2019, by the by. Been proven without a shadow of a doubt that this is true. And what's her evidence?
Breaking. NXIVM, which is a giant cult with human trafficking of women and children in their Rainbow Cultural Gardens fake daycare that they have.
Okay, NXIVM. Right, interesting. I haven't talked about NXIVM as a cult, but it's definitely a cult. I should probably do like a deep dive into them and who they are and what they do. Their leader, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. It's either Keith Rainier or Keith Rainier. Well, anyway, that's the leader, Keith Rainier. And he would do some absolutely horrific, messed up stuff to the women in the group. He would brand them and stuff. Like, the things that he did were illegal and evil and wrong and disgusting. And it had some really famous people in it, similar to Scientology. Like, Tom Cruise is like Scientology's spokesman or whatever you want to call it. Well, there were a lot of really famous people in NXIVM, too. It's spelled NXIVM, by the by. NXIVM. It's pronounced NXIVM. So anyways, the guy there was somebody from Smallville that was in NXIVM. I don't remember who it was or what their name was. Anyway, Yeah, Keith Raniere was arrested and charged and is sitting in jail, to my knowledge, up to this moment. This is not a global plot by worldwide child mistreatment people, like child mistreatment puppet masters that are out to get all of the kids or whatever. This was just some random nutter butter group that did absolutely nutter butter stuff that set out to take advantage of certain people. It was an isolated incident. And there were some famous people in the group, as these types of groups attempt to go after, just like Scientology with Tom Cruise. So NXIVM is not evidence of a global child mistreatment ring or whatever by the elites, by the Soroses of the world and of the, whoever. It's just nonsense, all of it. So her justification for the belief that there's a global ring at the very top of elites who are mistreating children is the NXIVM cult. Okay, go on.
This is what they've been doing, and you're finding the Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who declined that she even knew her father was even involved, even though he was heavily involved, along with his wife.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about this situation, but yeah, of course, this group is going to try to bring in as many famous and influential people as possible. Jehovah's Witnesses do the same thing. Any cult has an interest in bringing in famous and influential people. Jehovah's Witnesses brought in Prince. They had the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, for a while. I don't think they specifically sought them out, but NXIVM and Scientology most definitely sought out famous and influential people. Tom Cruise, Kirstie Alley, I mean, the list goes on. It's a big list, okay? It's a big list. John Travolta and others. Of course, NXIVM was doing the same thing. And of course, they were caught. Some senators and stuff were caught. That's not evidence of some gigantic ring of people at the very top of society that are controlling everything. That's absurd.
In this NXIVM sex cult, which has ties directly to the Clinton campaign.
Oh wow, okay. NXIVM has ties to Hillary Clinton. All right, that's news to me.
So this is just again that crack in the Pandora's box for, I think, our federal government and everybody that's been involved in horrible stuff like this, just like Harvey Weinstein was to Hollywood. You're going to see NXIVM and the Gillibrand connection to the Hillary Clinton, and then the big government is all right there. And Right Wing Watch, when I tweeted this out, I went to tag them, and they wouldn't come up out. So I looked up what their Twitter handle was. And then I realized, oops, they blocked me.
Yeah, because you're a nutcase. Like, nobody wants you harassing them. Obviously, that's what the block button is for, so you don't harass people. But for what it's worth, Right Wing Watch does cover her, and that's a good thing. I think they need to show the things that she says. I feel that that's very important. She's a public figure. She's not just some nobody. She owns a TV show called The Steel Truth. I think it's on Right Side Broadcasting Network, RSBN, or maybe it's on Newsmax. I don't even know what it's on. Anyway, she's very influential, and you can see how she's spinning up these crazy narratives and these absolutely absurd and unhinged connections between quote-unquote elites that are taking advantage of children and absolutely nothing, right? NXIVM was a cult that existed at a certain point in time that was doing some really horrific, messed up stuff. The leader was arrested and charged and sentenced, and I believe is now in jail, to my knowledge, unless he got out. And he was never, like, part of Hillary Clinton's campaign or whatever. Like, this is insane. I mean, let me show you just how insane this person gets. Again, she got into the sovereign citizen movement, which we'll get into in a minute. I'll explain it if you're unfamiliar. Listen to this. Late April 2020. I love going back and looking at some of the older stuff that these people say, because it's been proven unequivocally wrong over and over and over again, and they love to just pretend they never said it. Well, guess what? I've got a mind like an elephant, and I'm going to pull this stuff up and parade it all over the place. Let's listen to this. Late April 2020.
That escalator ride has been a very dramatic moment for millions of people.
Escalator ride. She's referring to Donald Trump coming down the escalator at Trump Tower preparing to announce that he's running for president, or announcing it, or whatever. So she says it was like a special moment for people, okay?
That escalator ride has been a very dramatic moment for millions of people.
Dramatic.
We say, I recall he and Melania coming down. Of course, who can forget how beautiful she was in her white outfit that day?
I forgot it. I don't even know what she looked like that day. So, yeah.
Her white outfit that day. But I saw the white light emanating from the president, and having worked for him back in the 90s.
The white light emanating from him. I hate to stop every 5 seconds, but I just want to point this out. She says that when Donald Trump walked down the golden escalator to announce that he's running for president 2016, there was a white light emanating from him. Seriously. She is one of many that believe that he is a Messiah. And here's just another piece of evidence, a white light emanating from him as he went down this escalator. That is insane.
But I saw the white light emanating from the president, and having worked for him back in the 90s, I knew him to be a man of good character and a great listener, and leaders are always excellent listeners. They listen to the people around them and they make decisions based on input.
A man of good character? Okay, like literally nothing that she just said is true, and it's all been proven unequivocally false without question. You can lie about how much you love the guy all you want, but that's nonsense, every last bit of it.
So I saw him coming down the escalator, and I said, oh, this is something I've looked forward to for 30 years, wanting this man to run for president, knowing how he ran his businesses and how he managed people. I thought, this is a born leader.
No, that's funny. He said that when he got into government, he was going to pick the right people because he knows how to pick people. And then he just kept firing person after person after person and saying they were terrible, they're idiots, they're wrong, they're stupid, they're awful, they don't know what they're doing. That's what Donald Trump did. You know, he kept firing people and blaming the people that he fired. Your ass picked him out. So what do you expect from me here? Who do you think I'm going to blame? It's the person that picked him. I thought you're supposed to be some magical businessman that knew exactly how to pick somebody out that could do a job correctly. What happened? What happened to all that? It was a lie all along. Donald Trump was a scam artist from the start and had his reputation rehabilitated from scam artist scumbag to genius businessman by The Apprentice. And this woman right here literally believes him to be the Messiah. This is sad. This is just straight up sad.
Managed people. I thought, this is a born leader. But there was something different that day. I saw this white light sort of coming around the president, and I said, that is the hand of Christ. That is God working through this man.
A white light emanating around him. This is God working through this man. She believes him to be the Messiah, straight up. This is insane. This is unhinged from reality. She needs mental help if she really believes this. Seriously. I'm not saying this in jest. I'm not saying this to be mean or to make a joke or any of this stuff. She needs mental help if she thinks that Donald Trump is the Messiah, which she does. She's not the only one either. There's a whole movement of famous pastors, Shane Vaughn being one of them, that believes Donald Trump to be the Messiah. Dead serious. You don't believe me? Let me show you.
Donald Trump carries the prophetic seal of the calling of God. He is Joseph. If you are anointed by Yahweh,
which he claims Donald Trump is anointed by Yahweh, that's what he just said. He says he is Joseph. He has the anointing of God.
For a specific plan and purpose, you are a Messiah.
Got to give the audience a second here.
Yeshua was the Messiah of mankind, but Donald Trump is the Messiah of America.
Now, there's a whole big complicated belief system surrounding this about how there were 12 tribes of Israel, you know, Asher and Judah and Reuben and Levi and so on and so forth. And Shane Vaughn has very much pioneered the whole belief system. Again, he's a televangelist. He's pioneered the belief system that middle, Donald Trump is a descendant of the tribes of Israel, which makes him Jewish. And as a Jewish person who took political control of a country, basically, that has an anointing with God or like a connection with God or whatever, that makes Donald Trump the Son of Man. That makes him like the new Messiah. That's the idea. That's the claim. It's complicated. It's a whole complicated belief system, and they have their little weird justifications, and they can refer back to the Bible for all of this stuff. And for the things that they can't refer back to the Bible for, they just claim prophecy. Yeah, God prophesied it to me. I mean, this guy is like not as influential as Shane Vaughn, but I just want to show that there really is a movement behind this whole thing. This is from 2022, mid-April. Guy is Jovan Pulitzer. I think that's his name. Jovan Pulitzer. And he was involved with the audit, the Arizona vote audit, that when they were auditing the votes, they were checking the ballots for bamboo fibers to see if China sent in fake. God, it's crazy. Anyway, he was involved with that. You know, the one that turned up more votes for Joe Biden than previously known. Anyways, Jovan Pulitzer talking to, as a matter of fact, Ann Vandersteel on The Steel Truth, I believe. Listen to what he said here.
I'm going to give you a name of somebody. You come back and give me one name or one descriptive word. Trump.
Don't take this wrong, but remember I'm Jewish, and a Messiah is, in Judaism, is a person who would bring the one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to the world. A Messiah means a great leader, a great prophet. I believe that Donald J. Trump is a Messiah for what's called the New Jerusalem, which is the United States of America. He was it, and he opened everybody's eyes. That's the only way I could describe him. He's a prophecy fulfilled.
That's absolutely unhinged from reality. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the clips that I usually show to prove that there's a real movement of people out there that believe that Donald Trump is a Messiah. I didn't even realize that that was with Ann Vandersteel on the left. I was focused on the guy on the right. I can't, that couldn't have worked out more perfectly. But for what it's worth, Ann Vandersteel has actually taken a QAnon oath, too. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. It's similar to the oath that the military takes, but it's got a couple of little changes to it. Let me show you what I mean here. Okay, so this is Michael Flynn, July 2020. This is about 3 years after QAnon really became a thing. It was 3 years after QAnon came into existence. But 2020 is when QAnon really took off. They used a series of memes to gain attention. They used the hashtag #SaveTheChildren, #SaveTheChildren. And they would put QAnon memes in the hashtag #SaveTheChildren. They'd put that hashtag in the meme and everything. And who doesn't want to save the children? Of course, there were no children to be saved. Like, QAnon lives in a fever dream where children are, under attack 24/7. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So 2020, QAnon's on the rise. Michael Flynn, guy right in the middle, used to be, I think, Trump's defense secretary. He was also Obama's defense secretary. He was charged with... What was he charged with? Let me look this up. Okay, Michael Flynn was charged and pleaded guilty to one felony count of willfully and knowingly making materially false statements and omissions to the FBI. So basically what happened in a nutshell, Russia attacks Ukraine in 2014. They attacked Crimea. They wanted to take Crimea, right? So Russia goes in. They take Crimea. They sent their soldiers in to take it. And Obama places sanctions on Russia, condemns them, says you can't do that, this is wrong, they're a sovereign country, and so on and so forth, right? Well, Russia didn't do a thing when they were sanctioned. They didn't say a word, they didn't do anything, they just went about their day. And Obama was like, that's not like Russia. Russia likes screaming and crying about things 24/7. So what happened? Well, as it turns out, we've come to find Michael Flynn pleaded guilty to, through back channels, through Kislyak, I think, which is like the Russian diplomat in the United States or whatever, telling the guy, Donald Trump's about to be president, we're pretty sure. Don't do anything until after the election. Just hang out and wait. And if Trump is the winner of the 2016 election, he's going to lift the sanctions and let you take Crimea. This all happened, dead serious. You wonder what Trump would do if he were in Joe Biden's seat with the Ukraine war? He would let Russia take Ukraine. We've watched it happen. He let them take Crimea. We know exactly how this would play out. So that's neither here nor there. After Michael Flynn was charged and sentenced for effectively undermining the authority of the U.S. government, what's tantamount to treason, maybe not by law, but in spirit, he committed treason. In my opinion, he's a traitor to the U.S. government. This guy in the middle, Michael Flynn, right? After he was charged and sentenced, Donald Trump pardoned him. Big surprise, right? So after he was pardoned, 2020, he comes out here and jumps on the QAnon train. This all relates to Ann Vandersteel, person on the right here, who we're going to get to in a second. But let me show you the QAnon oath that Michael Flynn and his family took. Again, it's slightly different than the oath that the U.S. military takes, or that, a police officer takes, or whatever, any other government official. It's different from government officials' oaths by just a little bit. One of the ways it's different is, at the end, they say, "Where we go one, we go all." Kind of a nonsensical statement that came from a movie that came out in the 80s or the 90s or something. And it's a little signal, It's just a little signal to other QAnoners that you're in on it too. You're with them with this whole thing. So listen to Michael Flynn give his QAnon oath, and then we're going to get back to Ann Vandersteel.
I, Jack Flynn, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all.
Now that's an interesting thing to say at the end of an oath, isn't it? Where we go one, we go all. It means absolutely nothing except I'm a QAnoner too. That's what it means. By the way, Michael Flynn sued CNN for playing that. That clip that I just played, he sued CNN for it. Of course, I'm giving commentary on it and everything. I don't worry about him suing me for that. And I've already played it before. But listen to Liz Crokin, who I talked about earlier this past week, on Ann Vandersteel's program, The Steel Truth, doing something very similar. Check this out. This clip is from, again, 2020. This is from immediately after Michael Flynn gave the oath. This oath is going all over the place in 2020. This is when QAnon was really taking off. They really took advantage of those social media algorithms, especially around this time, 2020. And that's when they started getting censored by algorithms, when they started taking off. Give this a listen.
Do you want to take the oath with me? We can repeat after General Flynn.
Sure. Or do we have it written down somewhere where I can read it?
We have it queued up. We can put the video up, and we just have to hold our hands up like this, and we'll just follow General Flynn and repeat after him.
Again, you want to take an oath to the U.S. government? Don't know why you would. Only legally recognized government officials need to take this oath. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Take the oath to the U.S. government if that's what you want to do. That's patriotic. That's respectable. Whatever. That's not what they're doing. You know what they're doing? They're taking an oath to QAnon. That's very different.
And everybody in the audience, by the way, please hold up your right hand and let's all take the oath together. We've got 755 in YouTube chat alone.
Oh,
so
cool.
Everybody, if you just hold up your right hand, let's take the oath together. Okay, go ahead, Liz. Cue the video. Yep.
So I usually get somewhere in the vicinity of 800 people on my podcast when I stream. I used to get closer to 1,500 or 2,000 or something, but, you know, live streams go up and down, and lately my channel hasn't really gotten as many live viewers as it used to. Who knows why? It happens. It's not that big of a deal. But just to give a little bit of context, that's roughly how many I get on my Fireside chat channel with like 100,000 subbies is 800 live viewers, give or take. So that's what she's talking about.
I, Flynn, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Okay.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Foreign and domestic.
Against all
Against enemies, both foreign and domestic.
And allegiance to the same.
And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
This obligation.
Dude, Liz Crokin on the left has no idea what's going on, can't understand a word she's saying, and is doing her damnedest to say the oath alongside Ann Vandersteel and Flynn here, but it's just not working out.
Freely.
That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation
Or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
Like, she's not even saying it, right?
And faithfully.
And that I will well
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
on which I am about to enter.
of the office
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
One, we go all.
Where we go one,
Where we go one, we go all.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. If you notice at the end, they said, the obligations of the office I'm about to enter. Where we go one, we go all. What office are these people entering, right? There is no office. They haven't been invited to be a Secretary of State or an Attorney General or, you know, a General of the Army or Air Force or whatever. No, what are they, like, what office are they entering? You know what office it is? Digital soldiers. They've become digital soldiers. That's what they call themselves. QAnoners call themselves digital soldiers, and they're people who go in and act like trolls everywhere they can and spread Hillary Clinton, you know, email memes, Buttery Male memes, basically. Buttery Males, you know? That's all they talk about, Buttery Males, 24/7. It's like, it's a problem. This is a risky thing to type on a live stream, Buttery Males. Here you go, Buttery Males. Males that are buttering themselves up. Buttery Males. That's all QAnoners talk or think about. 24/7. Buttery Males. That's it. And it's incessant. Okay? I can't stand it. Anyway, so let me get to the point here. Ann Vandersteel took the QAnon oath to declare herself a digital soldier, right? Well, she's taken a step beyond that. That was all the way back in 2020. July 2020. Now we're, of course, well, we're past this now, but this clip is from mid-January 2022. I accidentally misspelled January. Please forgive me. I put a lot of work into making sure I get the dates on these correct. So mid-January 2022, she decides to go down the sovereign citizen route. Now, if you don't know what a sovereign citizen is, it's really, really common among QAnoners, among right-wing extremists, libertarians, things like that. The idea is they don't believe they are subject to U.S. laws or U.S. anything. They don't believe they have to pay taxes. They don't believe they need a driver's license. They don't believe that they need anything. Actually, there's a video. Hang on. Okay, let's just watch this short interaction between a sovereign citizen and a police officer, just to give you an idea of the kind of stupid shit that they say. Just, this woman was just pulled over by a police officer. Give this a listen.
Young lady, Officer Banks, Golf Breeze Police Department. I'm pulling you over. You're doing 54 and a 35. Any reason for that speed tonight?
Where's the 35?
Before you got off the bridge, and as soon as you came off the bridge. All this is 35.
So she's going like 55 and a 35, basically 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's a lot.
I was going 40, I thought.
No.
She says, I was going 40, I thought.
You got your license, registration, proof of insurance.
You don't have to have a license to drive a car.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, you don't have to have a license to drive a car. It's starting.
You got your license, registration, proof of insurance.
You don't have to have a license to drive a car.
Yes, you do.
You do not.
15-7, 41 with me. Ma'am, step out the vehicle.
She's not going to. You know why? She's a sovereign citizen. She doesn't believe in the authority of the police officer. And apparently, if you don't believe in it, then it doesn't exist. It's like fairies or something.
Am I not a crime?
Yeah, you are being detained right now. Step out the vehicle, young lady.
I know my rights.
Either you step out the vehicle or I will remove you from the vehicle.
I know my rights.
Yeah, this is a really common refrain from sovereign citizens. I know my rights. Inevitably, sovereign citizens will end up in jail because they do things like this. They refuse to get a driver's license, or if they have one, they refuse to turn it over to a cop. Despite driving a vehicle, they refuse to pay taxes. They refuse to anything at all. They refuse to cooperate with the state in any way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, we live in a society, and that society provides a lot for us, like the roads she's driving on. She has to pay taxes so that the roads can be built and maintained that she's driving on right now. She has to have a license that proves that she knows how to drive a car, that she's even capable of doing so. Sorry, you're a sovereign citizen, you're a fool. Like, we live in a society, and we have to follow society's rules. That's just what it is.
15-7, sovereign supervisor, sovereign citizen.
You need to get your supervisor down here right now, she says.
No, you need to step out the vehicle right now. Young lady, step out the vehicle. Step out the vehicle. Last time I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to make you step out the vehicle.
This cop is being, if it had been anybody else, he would have not opened the door, grabbed them by the throat, and dragged them out the window. I would be willing to bet.
The vehicle right now.
You are going to get me a supervisor out here right now.
That's fine.
I know my rights.
What right is that?
Obviously, she doesn't know anything about rights.
I do not have to have a driver's license to drive a car. This is not a commercial vehicle.
Okay.
So you don't know your rights.
I know my rights.
Okay.
By the way, yeah, this is from somebody else's video, Law Talk with Mike, so he kind of interjects every now and then. I apologize. Sounds like he poorly equalized the audio, so when I play this clip in the final version, I'm going to try to equalize it and make her voice louder and Law Talk with Mike's voice a little quieter. So anyway, so she says this isn't a commercial vehicle. It's a private vehicle, so she doesn't need a license apparently. What?
The supervisor.
Okay.
Right
Call the supervisor right now.
All right.
right now.
Or else what?
I know my rights.
If I don't
Or else what, he says. And she says, I know my rights.
call supervisor, or else what?
I guess we're not going to go anywhere then.
Okay. Just hold it for me and go and give me the channel.
You need to get a supervisor out here.
Dude, the supervisor's not going to do anything but drag you out of the car by your neck, okay? You have to obey a cop whether you like it or not. That's just what it is. Especially when you are actually breaking the law. Whether you're breaking the law or not, you have to obey a cop. That's just how it is, unfortunately. I don't like the way the system works at all. I feel like cops take advantage of their positions of authority, and that's disgusting to me. But you have to follow the laws, and you have to listen to police officers. You have to do what they tell you to do, basically, if you're being detained, particularly, and she is. If you're not being detained, what you should do is you should say to the cop, am I being detained? If they say yes, you say, for what? If they tell you for what, you say, I want a lawyer. That's it. If they say anything other than, yes, you're being detained, then you say, like, if they say, no, you're not being detained, or if they ask you what you were doing or whatever, you just ask the question again. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? Just keep repeating those questions over and over and over again until you get a yes to one of them. If you're not being detained, then they have no right to hold you there and you are free to go. But if you walk away from a cop when he believes that he's detaining you, whether it's legal or not, it's a quick way to start a really ugly altercation with a cop and end up with a bullet in the back. So just be aware that cops have guns and they like to aim them at people. And everybody in the police department likes to defend them when, things get dicey for them. So, am I being detained? Am I free to go? What am I being detained for? I want a lawyer. Those are the only 4 things you should ever say to a cop. Ever. So anyways, the point is that's a sovereign citizen. That's what they do. And this woman right here, Ann Vandersteel, she's decided she's a sovereign citizen now. Listen to what she has to say here. This is mid-January 2022.
I decided to become an American state national. Joe, you've heard me talk about.
Ooh, American state national. That means sovereign citizen. That's code for sovereign citizen. She's going to be one of these Karens on the side of the road saying, this isn't a commercial vehicle. I don't need a license to drive this car. I love it, dude. I hope that happens to her one day. I so hope it happens.
Joe, you've heard me talk about this a little bit on the Health and Freedom Tour, but I decided that the 14th Amendment citizenship, the federal citizenship of a bankrupt corporate entity known as the United States. There's a lot of things people may or may not understand. That some people have heard about the Act of 1871 and all this stuff. The truth of the matter is,
oh boy, now this is getting complicated. This is another QAnon conspiracy that I want to explain. This video's already getting pretty long, but I'm going to explain this QAnon conspiracy. So everything that she just said, let me just wrap it up in a nutshell for you, okay? Back in the 1860s, when the United States split into the Confederacy and the Union, I think 1865 is when it rejoined. The Union reabsorbed the Confederacy, right? And the QAnon/sovereign citizen claim is that after they rejoined, the government that kind of rejoined together like that wasn't the U.S. government. It was the corporation of the United States. So it was a company, basically, that created and formed a new government. The real U.S. government hasn't had a president since, I think, Ulysses S. Grant. Was he the one that was in control when the Confederacy rejoined with the Union? I don't remember. So there have been 17 presidents or something like that in their mind, rather than 46. And the claim is, this is this is deep lore. Oh my God. The claim is that any law that was passed after Reconstruction, after the Confederacy and the Union rejoined, is null and void. Any changes to the Constitution that were made after that point are null and void. And one of the changes that was made after Reconstruction, after 1865 or whatever it was Inauguration Day was changed. It was changed from March 4th to January 20th. So these people, these sovereign citizens, these QAnonner types, believed that Donald Trump was going to be, I don't know, the 18th president or whatever it is. I don't remember exactly how many. He was going to be the next president in line of the real United States government. The first president in 150-something years, basically. And he was going to be inaugurated on March 4th. And there was this huge, movement of all of these pastors and QAnonners and nutterbutters of all different sorts coming out of the woodwork on March 4th or before March 4th, ordering Trump into the White House. If he just walks into the White House, God will supernaturally push things out of the way. He just has to walk in, sit down at the resolute desk, and take authority, and everybody will defend him, and God will defend him, and that'll be the end of it. He has been inaugurated in heaven on March 4th. That's the claim. And we got bizarre videos like this right here, early March 2021. This is right before March 4th. Kat Kerr, televangelist.
Right now, I declare and I call forth our president to take his rightful place, Trump, to come forth right now, step into your destiny that God gave you, called you, appointed you, and anointed you for this time to declare over America, to help America. This is his choice, and we call you forth right now in the name of Jesus Christ, who is with you, who will always be with you. The people are with you. The prophets of God are with you. The military is with you. So come forth, step into your destiny now.
Saith the Lord. Sorry, I've heard this so many times, I think it's funny. She's saying that this came from God. This message came from God. Early March, before March 4th, she ordered Donald Trump into the White House as one of God's people, as one of God's prophets. She was using God's voice to order Donald Trump to sit down at the Resolute desk, kick Biden's ass out, sit down there, and take authority as the president. Because of that whole mess about Reconstruction, the U.S. corporation, and sovereign citizen, blah, 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 all of it.
Saith the Lord.
I mean, absolutely absurd on every level. So anyway, sorry, that required a little bit of explanation what she was saying here. So that's what she meant when she said all that. Let's start from this clip, or let's start from the beginning with this clip. Listen again.
I decided to become an American state national. Joe, you've heard me talk about this a little bit on the Health and Freedom Tour, but I decided that the 14th Amendment citizenship, the federal citizenship of a bankrupt corporate entity known as the United States.
Right. Bankrupt corporate entity known as the U.S. So that was the corporation of the United States that was formed out after the Union and Confederacy rejoined. This is all a fever dream, of course. I feel I don't even need to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is all a lie. None of this is true. The U.S. government is the U.S. government, always was the U.S. government. There have been 46 presidents, blah, blah. I mean, none of it is true. It's all completely made up. They think they found some legal loophole that they simply did not find. But okay.
There's a lot of things people may or may not understand. That some people have heard about the Act of 1871 and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about, Act of 1871.
The truth of the matter is, there is a United States, and the federal government is part of a municipal, a corporate entity that was part of Washington, D.C., that was only supposed to be Washington, D.C. 10 square.
No. It's completely made up. Like, she has no idea what she's talking about. She is repeating QAnon talking points right now that don't make any sense.
Washington, D.C., that was only supposed to be Washington, D.C. 10 square miles. But the 14th Amendment basically hijacked all of the state's sovereignty and made anybody who opted into Social Security a 14th Amendment federal citizen. Therefore, you've exchanged your God-given rights, your Bill of Rights, and you've exchanged them for government privileges, the privilege to get welfare, the privilege to get student loans, to get Social Security, to get health care, all this stuff that our Constitution...
So you don't have to pay Social Security? You don't have to pay Social Security anymore? You don't have to pay FICA?
I don't pay Social Security. I don't have to pay into it anymore. I don't have to pay income taxes, personal income taxes anymore, because...
Can you get all your money out that you put in?
Yes, you can.
I put a lot of money in.
Yeah.
I put a lot of money into the system over the last 25 years.
Yes, you can, Joe. Yes, you can. You get anything you put in, you get out. You get out.
Ooh, boy. They are in for a rude awakening. I can tell you that much right now. That is not how it works. There is this conspiracy theory going around that if you don't pay taxes the first time you pay your taxes, you are basically signing an agreement that you will pay taxes moving forward, and you're kind of locked into it. But if you never do pay taxes, you just don't have to pay taxes. That's nonsense. That's not true, okay? You live in a society, you live under the purview of the United States government. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay FICA taxes. You have to pay Social Security. You have to pay your student loans and your Medicare and your Medicaid and your all of it. You have to. And if you don't, you know what's coming next? The IRS is coming after your ass. They will send you a bill, and they will not be favorable with the bill that they send you. They're going to give you the least charitable interpretation of what they think you owe. And if you don't pay it, they'll put your ass in jail. That's how it works. So go ahead, Ann. Go ahead, Max McGuire, Joe Altman, the two names on here. Go ahead. I'm more than happy to see you not pay your FICA taxes or your income taxes or your whatevers. Go ahead. You know what? Fire your accounting department. That works for me. Go ahead. We'll see how that works out. So anyway, this woman here, Ann Vandersteel, you may not have heard of her, but she is extremely influential in this movement and has been for a long time. She knows like everybody. That's why I want to cover her. And she has gone down some really, really weird rabbit holes. And to be perfectly honest, I am deeply entertained by the rabbit holes she's gone down. Oh my God. She even said stuff that I wasn't even aware of, like dog whistles and like little messages and stuff that I had never even heard of. I'm here for every second of it, dude. I love it. I love it to death. So anyways, yeah, let me know what you think about Ann Vandersteel. I just got, it's crazy. All right, let me know what you think in the comments.